This next fellow is basically the reason why we're here. He started a mission a long time ago. And as Mona introduced me to him, that was 1,000 years ago at the Howland Cultural Center. I, the neophyte, then ultimately learned that there's spaces that come and go, as this disappeared for us for a while, and we're back now. God bless it. Robert is not only, I mean, it sounds so bloody cliche, but it's not. He's a spiritual brother, and he's a visionary with a passion like mine, that the power of the word is essential to be human. I don't like people. I don't like them at all. They're not accountable. Look at the world in which we are. The wars continue. The degradation continues. The bullshit continues. And then there are human beings who are being human. And I've made it a lifelong passion, Mr. Rodriguez, to collect them. There's something extraordinary as taught to us by Plato and the Gnostics. And that is the never-ending quest to become more than you possibly can through knowledge. And the only way that is going to really suffice is to have the ability to be literate. Yes, you can sit quietly and not know how to read. And you may have intuitive, kinetic intelligence. But if you really want to expand upon the ethers, you have to become literate. And part of literacy is not only learning how to phrase your ideas through the musicality of language, which is so rich with music, whether it's an alliterated phrase or the onomatopoetics of its rhythm. And then this comes down to the sheer content of words. Well, Maestro MILBY, though I tend to like his political rantings more than his natural settings, because he gets his dander up and he is a master of humility and diplomacy. But it's always been a thrill to be with him. I owe him a great debt to my own evolutionary processes that I can egocentrically say really manifested themselves because of this group. And without saying any more about myself, it's a great honor to bring on Robert MILBY.
Thank you, Hayden. Thank you all. A few upcoming events. Many of you are already on my email list, and those of you who aren't, I'll add you. The 18th, which is Sunday, so we have some days between. Poetry at the Church, 2 p.m. at St. Lawrence Friary, 180 Sargent Avenue in Beacon. It is an open reading hosted by Father Bob Phelps. On the 24th, up in Pine Bush, at Soul Shine. It's at 3 p.m., 96 Main Street, Pine Bush, New York. David Messinio and the usual open reading. Monday the 26th, Poetry at the Church, Ted Gill's series at the Goshen Methodist Church, 115 Main Street in Goshen, New York, 7 p.m., Ariana Den Blaker. Then we'll jump to the 1st of July, 1 p.m., right where you're sitting, the Hudson River Poets return. Going back to June 1st, Sir John Suckling died 1642. Canadian poet Wilfred Campbell, 1861. On the 1st, we have John Masefield, 1878. Mikhail Glinka in Russia, 1804. The death of Andrei Voznesensky at age 77 in 1910. On the 2nd, which was yesterday, Thomas Hardy, born in Dorset, England in 1840.
Tiggery Den, the Rebel Man.
On the 3rd, which is today, the death of Georges Bizet in 1875. Robert Hillier, an American poet, 1895. Allen Ginsberg, born in New Jersey in 1926. And the birthday of Father Bob Phelps, 1940 in Westchester.
And he is 83.
83.
Can I get your email before we leave, or give me my information? Okay, thank you.
The Darkling Thrush by Thomas Hardy. I leant upon a coppice gate when frost was spectre gray, and winter's dregs made desolate the weakening eye of day. The tangled vine stems scored the sky like strings of broken lyres, and all mankind that haunted nigh had sought their household fires. The land's sharp features seemed to be the century's corpse outlent, his crypt the cloudy canopy, the wind his death lament. The ancient pulse of germ and birth was shrunken hard and dry, and every spirit upon earth seemed fervorless as I. At once a voice arose among the bleak twigs overhead, in a full-hearted evensong of joy illimited, an aged thrush, frail, gaunt, and small, in blast-beruffled plume, had chosen thus to fling his soul upon the growing gloom. So little cause for carolings of such ecstatic sound was written on terrestrial things, afar or nigh aground, that I could think there trembled through his happy good-night air some blessed hope whereof he knew and I was unaware. Thomas Hardy. This is one from the recently published trilogy, Corona d'Etat, the Pandemic Poems. This is the 3rd volume, released this year, 2022, I should say.
Show the volume.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Again from volume 3. We are stardust, billion-year-old carbon. We are golden, caught in the devil's bargain, and we've got to get ourselves back to the garden. It's from Woodstock by Joni Mitchell from 1969. This is for the children of the current generation. Not carbon neutral, but carbon neutered. In America 2022, despite the fright and government of corporations declaring war on the people, the wending path from darkness to light remains a labyrinth of classism, narcissistic classism, perverted, contorted, inverted, and contractual classism. As the past 2 generations can attest, there is so-called protest, yet even high-profile vehicles of protest are gaudy fakery, not remotely authentic revolt. Children from European countries gaining audience with royalty and popes, presidents and MPs, as if anyone can swing in on a hero's rope of sand to change the range of programming and maintain a centuries-old fantasy. Fake anarchy monetized and bar-coded to sell to the yearning masses, accoutrements for orgy, but never release names of servants left to clean up the manor's hall, the chateau's walls after elites reconfigure their social map. Designs developed over millennia to ensure a permanent wonderland of readily attainable material gain. The pretenses of soapboxes, whistle-stop train campaigns, duality of free speech, which never was permitted everywhere and never was free, affluence and decadence of old genetically assured families, How do we heal thought pathogens when children are taught that the sky is falling, the air is failing, the planet is boiling, and their own genome is priceless, while receiving an AI needlecraft, assuring they will not remain pure, but will retain servility, as rising floods of globalist resets bar learning our true history? As with Etsy and his carbon tattoos, the masses have small global footprints.
Very good. Very good. I like.
This was finished this morning. Perhaps some of you were up there today. The Pine Bush UFO Fair, Main Street, Pine Bush, New York, June 3rd, 2023. Vibrate, resonate, ingratiate with cover charges and barges of tented vendor tables under an ominous late spring sky. Not for the eager vendors, but for the patrons. Take your family to fawn over humanity's oldest oppressors, whether it is Draco, Zeta, Skinwalker, Chupacabra, Mothman, Sasquatch, hybrids, poltergeists, who in their right sanity would bring children to celebrate demons. Why are there no cult deprogrammers in the masses? Why are there no archangels descending from clouds to chase creatures from the crowds? Where are the exorcists to excoriate the monsters? Have you considered the distance from Bullville, from West Point, from Stewart? Are you aware of the number of traffickers' tunnels winding and wending beneath the great cities and national parks' abduction sites? Do you think droughts and terror forming the Northeast is stable and normal? If adults wish to behave like simians, dancing for bloodline reptilians, running rough on Moreau's Island, seeking Morlocks in subterranean shadows and ghost zones, then let them tender their folly in orgies of unreason. Let them wander on streets in safety of daylight, but leave the children and babies at home. I don't feel I write.
Were you there, Robert?
No, sir, I never set foot there.
I have a feeling.
The chestnut casts his flambeau, and the flowers stream from the hawthorn on the wind away. That's from The Chestnut Casts His Flambeau by A.E. Housman from 1922. The horse chestnut at Salesian Park. Secrets of the park abound. A new library does not supplant hallowed ground. Winds send voices of those gone. The horse chestnut stands in his spring pageantry. Horse chestnut leans proudly for Aurora and lights his candles at Vespers. Where is the austere seminary? I first wandered the grounds in autumn 1980. His proud store and others picked by the young, magnolia seeds, acorns, and brilliant leaves on the currency of childhood bestowed by trees. Flower spikes on dry sod under swaying limbs, burrs and nuts from seasons past. Where are boys and girls to climb a giant's branches? Where are children to run about the park? Phones and dogs replaced students and books, ringtones and slang, not prayers in the dark. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.